Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today I just want to, go into, a few articles, bring out a couple of scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, straight to the point. And as of, earlier, there was a shooting that took place in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is from USA Today. And it says, Covenant School shooting updates, 3 kids and 3 adults killed in Nashville. We're slocky. It says 6 killed, yeah. So 3 children, 3 adults were killed, by a young teen, earlier today.
There were maps drawn of the school in detail, surveillance, entry points, etc. We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors. Is how they actually got into the school.
And just to go into it a little bit, says the shooter who killed 6 people, including 3 children at a Nashville elementary school Monday, had detailed maps of the facility, considered another target, and left behind writings that may shed light on the motive. Authorities said the attacker, identified as Audrey Elizabeth Hale, 28, was a former student at the Covenant School who broke in Monday morning by shooting the glass from a door. The intruder gunned down 3 young students and 3 staff members before being confronted and killed by police. Metro Nashville Police Department Chief John Drake said. So yeah, it's another, mass shooting. And just a little more, it says in surveillance footage released by Nashville police late Monday, Hale is seen driving to the school, carrying out the shooting, armed with 2 AR-style weapons, 1 rifle, the other a pistol, along with a handgun. Hale is seen shooting into the glass doors to enter the building. The video then shows Hale walking in the hallways and aiming an assault rifle before the video cuts. According to a tweet from Nashville police, the shooter had significant ammunition. Drake said the 2 of the weapons were legally purchased in the Nashville area, but did not specify which ones. So, again, another mass shooting took place, here in America, in Nashville, Tennessee. And another article says another strong storm is headed for the Bay Area. Here's what you can expect.
It's cold. Before we get to the rain and wind tomorrow, this is the coldest morning by far because the wind speed's tailed off. Fairfax 29, San Martin 29, Woodside's 30, Rohnert Park's 30, Palo Alto's 30. Clayton and Sonoma are both 31. Santa Cruz is 35, and Bodega Bay is 36. That's cold, baby, for us. That's really cold. Frost advisory is out, and hard freeze warning out north. That's up in Mendocino County and Lake County. Heck, you might even include parts of the Bay Area in that hard freeze. The low is going to, what's called bomb out. That means the surface low is going to rapidly deepen, and it'll go right along the coast, sending in multiple waves. I think there'll be more than 3 probably around the Russian River, 40 to 60 mile per hour winds. Snow levels start off very low late tonight and then start to go up. Winter storm warnings are already out for the mountains. mountains, and wouldn't you know it, if it's Tuesday, it must be another wind and rain event, because that's what's happening. This will be back-to-back Tuesdays when we have big systems here. Wind advisory starts at 11 o'clock tonight and goes through 11 a.m. tomorrow. There are so many 30s. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen this. The city officially is 42.52. If they get to 42.49, they will tie a record low for March 27th, going back to 1898. So close. 33 Livermore, 33 Palo Alto Airport, 39 Berkeley. I mean, take your pick. There's so many here. Pinol's down to 32. Lafayette's now 32. Clayton bouncing between 31 32. Dublin's 33. Castro Valley's in there. Hercules 34. Even Hayward and Union City are in the upper 30s. South Lake Tahoe and Truckee are both at 3 degrees. I know it gets cold in the mountains, but that's, for this time of year, into March, that's amazingly cold. Las Vegas is down to 40. Incredibly cold there. There are lots of 20s up in Mendocino County, Lake County. Some sun, but the clouds are already knocking on the door, and they'll continue to increase throughout the day. So if you have to do something, I need to go out and get a quick 9 in, Steve. All right, do it in the morning, because in the afternoon you're on your own, because this system will be developing pretty fast. So the wind will pick up, but morning frost. It's cold, sun, then clouds. A lot of that cold air is going to get trapped, so it will be very cool today. Rain and wind return tomorrow. Looks like about 1 inch to 3 inches should cover most locations. There's a little bit of talk from the excessive rainfall folks at the Weather Prediction Center. Napa County, Solano County might be in line for a little bit more rain than this. Just a heads up on that. And it wouldn't surprise me here, because this will be a pretty strong front. Not only that, we could get more rain. We'll get a break after probably Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday. But today, 50s, 60s, sun in the morning, clouds roll in, wind picks up later tonight, and then it'll be rain and winds for tomorrow, with highs today only in the 50s and low 60s.
So, California, is experiencing, very, very low temperatures, which, the guy said, which
Careful
is,
when you're heading, especially if there's a game going on. Your best just to
they're almost at a record low, yet again. This from the NPR about the tornadoes down in Mississippi. It says the exact link between tornadoes and climate change is hard to draw. Here's why. It says rural communities in western Mississippi are surveying and cleaning up the damage after an unusual and powerful tornado tore through the area Friday night. The tornado killed at least 25 people in Mississippi and 1 in Alabama, destroying buildings and left hundreds without shelter. The tornado landed in Rolling Fork around 8 p.m. local time before blowing through the nearby towns, including Silver City, Black Hawk, and Winona, staying on the ground for about an hour and 10 minutes. The National Weather Service says it spanned roughly 170 miles and had a path of 59.4 miles, an unusually long distance compared to what it calls a typical tornado path of 1 to 2 miles. The National Weather Service has given the tornado a preliminary rating of 4 out of 5 on the enhanced Fujita EF scale, which estimates wind speeds in the case of 166 to 200 miles an hour. Based on the damage caused, this is one of the more rare tornadoes that we've seen in record Mississippi history, given its longevity and strength over a period of time. National Weather Service meteorologist Lance Perilou told NPR. Again, tornadoes that ripped through Mississippi. Then this is from Reuters. It says Ecuador landslide kills at least 7 in the Andes, 23 hurt. And it says a landslide triggered by heavy rains in Ecuador's Andean region killed at least 7 people, with 23 people hurt and almost 50 missing. The country's risky agency said on Monday in a revised report on Twitter. Earlier, the agency reported that 16 people had died as a result of the landslide in the city of Lucy in Ecuador's Chimborazo province. It did not explain the reasons for the revision, but it did say that 32 people were rescued after a large amount of earth swept down on parts of the city of Alausi on a Sunday night. A statement on Twitter hiked the number of missing people to 46 from 7 in its previous report. In all, 500 people and 163 houses were affected, the agency says. We have had to witness a terrible tragedy. Transport Minister Dario Herrera told Reuters in Al-Lausi, the first thing is to attend and to evacuate people from the houses. Rescue workers searched for survivors in the rubble, aided by dogs. In some areas, most houses were completely buried by earth, according to a Reuters witness. And yes, most of these things, are plagues, sent by the Lord, the judgment, that the Lord is issuing, mass shooting that took place, the cold weather, in certain states where it's usually warm, and, the tornado that ripped through Mississippi, and, this landslide that took place in Ecuador, these are all judgments sent by the Lord, Slucky. So I'm going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and I'm going to start at verse 37. And it says, Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. It's like you make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. And yes, these are plagues that the Lord is sending upon the earth, because ultimately, more plagues and more judgments, are going to come. Those 6 people that were killed in that mass shooting, that was judgment from the Lord, to be put to death in that fashion. Those people that were killed in that storm, in Mississippi, it's judgment from the Lord. And then the people, that pretty much went missing in that landslide in Ecuador, the ones that were reported dead, and even the ones that are reported missing, it's judgment. These are plagues sent by the Lord. There's going to be much more that the Lord is going to bring, Slocky, bear with me. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time. Slakia. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And yes, of these plagues, these pestilences, these judgments that he's sending out, and ultimately, the world is going to visit. It's like the Lord is going to visit the world, by way of these ICBM missiles and through our Lord Yahweh Shai, when he makes his second coming, this going to be the Lord visiting the world, ultimately. Verse 3, and it says, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in the wonder and powerful works. Slaki. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. We're at the end, of Edom's kingdom, because once this man is taken out of power, the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, and our Lord Yahweh Shai, they're going to take over, the Lord is going to establish his kingdom, but Babylon the Great. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, falling in this truth room. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.